Welcome to Functional Roots, where whole body wellness begins in the mouth. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Heather, and we're hygienists with a passion for all things holistic, functional, and naturopathic.
This isn't your average dental podcast. Around here, we dig deep, past the plaque and into the powerful connections between oral health, the body, and the way we live.
So whether you're a fellow dental professional, a wellness enthusiast, or someone curious about taking a more natural approach to your health, you're in the right place.
So grab your favorite herbal tea, settle in, and let's get to the root of it all.
Awesome. Okay, so this is going to be a non-typical podcast because we've had lots of interviews that we had to move for one reason or the other, which was
Life happens for everybody in December
2025. So we're just going to wrap up, let our listeners know what we've been up to for the last couple of months, what we have plans for next year. And the first thing that I want to do is just congratulate Amanda because she has worked diligently to get her health and wellness coaching certification, and she passed her board this month. So yay! And I can't wait to hear what's next for you.
What is next for me? Thank you. Yes. So definitely an accomplishment. This felt like the longest, slow burn of my life. I started the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy through the Institute for Functional Medicine in, oh my gosh, August of 2024. It was a year-long program, and there was a board attached to it. You don't have to take a board. The health and wellness space is really interesting. It's the Wild West, because I think when you think coaching, you think, oh yeah, I'm the expert. Health and wellness coaching is very much the opposite of that. You might be the expert, but your patient, your client is the expert on their life, and you are eliciting change within. And so it was a big mind shift of how to get the change from the patients that you're trying to help, because this is one of the best quotes that I got throughout the whole entire program was, everybody wants to change, but nobody wants to be changed. And let that sink in, because nobody likes to be told what to do and what to change. No, thank you. So getting past that to help people. Anyway, all that to say, yes, I chose to take the board, which was like a whole other level of stress. It's been so long since I've taken a board. When I took boards, we wrote them out. There was Scantrons. So that's how long it's been since I've done a board. So yes, I just found out I passed. When I walked out of boards, I said, I didn't nail it, but I didn't fail it. But I was mentally preparing that this isn't going to stop me from doing anything, but I just didn't want to waste that money that I spent paying for the board, preparing for the board, all that stuff. So yes, a nice season of closure for me, ending 2025 on a high note. Sorry, my husband is texting me like crazy. What's going on? Anyway, so that being said, yes, I think what is next was your question. I finally am going to start honing in, being able to do hair tissue mineral analysis, oral microbiome testing, helping patients remotely. I still plan on practicing clinically in my city because this is my community, and it's just kind of how I keep balance in my life, is having coworkers. So I do enjoy that still for now. So I want to grow and continue in this space. So I've already signed up for Jensen's Test Don't Guess course. And then hopefully I'll be signing up for Naturally Amber White's course. And then, of course, speaking of courses, Heather has a course I get to be a part of as well. Heather, tell us all about yours. And I'm so excited to be able to grow and learn from you all the time. So tell me all about yours.
Yeah. So I've been working on education for, I feel, 7 months now. I have so much decks built that I can't wait to just start recording. I started on a journey this summer to try to get my website up and CE certified. So I have a couple of CE certified courses on the oral microbiome on my website. There's another course called Microbial Mayhem that I have posted there, but I really wanted to do more. So in lieu of wanting to do more, I wanted to do a community of some sort where you could join a membership and have more of a community. Last month, my husband and I were looking at how we would model that. So I purchased an app, And I'm building Saliva Sleuths community. And
Hygiene entrepreneurs.
yes. So with the Saliva Sleuths, it's very detective and nerdy. I
Bust out the hat.
a little preview of the Saliva Sleuths. We'll be investigating a little bit. So I have monthly webinars that I'm planning, and I'm hoping to get those CE certified, so they'll be continuing education qualified for the webinars. I'm doing open microbe nights biweekly, and with the open microbe nights, I'm hoping to do that where it's more like you can bring a case, we can have a conversation. Maybe we post a podcast and we just have open conversation about the topic of the podcast. Just open conversation and collaboration with each other and learning from each other on those evenings. And then I have small snippets of learning through a learning library that's very themed. So I'm telling you about the Sokransky 6 under investigation in the evidence room. So it's super nerdy, fun. And I'm hoping to drop some of those small bits of learning. They're just like 20 to 30 minutes, small bits of learning to refresh your memory on oral microbiome, education, laying out the oral microbiome, but also we're going to lay the foundation, but then talk about, I have one deck that built out that I just have to record on thyroid health and how fluoride impacts the thyroid and mercury. So not just oral microbiome based, but systemic health, which I think we all need to learn a little bit more on. So I'm so pumped, and it's interactive. It's an app. You can connect with each other. I have one plug, it's shameless plug section where you can tell us what you're doing, advocate your business if you are opening up a business like Amanda hopefully will be soon, where you can brag and talk about maybe a speaking event. I just went to a really awesome functional medicine conference in Vegas. It's the biggest functional medicine conference out in the US that I just spoke at, and it was super exciting to have a couple of dental individuals speaking on the oral systemic connection.
It's nice to see the bridge finally being connected.
Yeah.
We're invading their space.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's not going to be just dental hygienists and dentists in this space. I do have a referral section that I'm working on where if someone is working in the space and needs a good foundation for referral information for myofunctional therapy, I'm putting some references in there for individuals that I've worked throughout the country with. Bristol, I have some functional medicine minded holistic dentists listed. I've been working collaboratively with an airway group and working on finding some good airway referrals. So you'll have some resources, whether you're a nutritionist, functional doctor, or a dentist or hygienist, and you're looking for ways to collaborate. I'm hoping to have a library of individuals in there for you to have resources for.
Which is so exciting because that's one of the biggest things, especially like for myself. Like I'm a biological hygienist working in a traditional office. And obviously not every patient is on the space of like they want biological, but there are those that want the alternatives, that want those things. And the cool thing with medicine a lot of the times is it doesn't have to be a provider in your community. Like there's so much with telehealth, and there's so many ways that like they can just go to HealthQuest or tele whatever, get blood drawn, and they're connected to their doctor that way. Myofunctional therapists, like they're able to do a lot remotely. So it's not just about having the doctor in your community if there's not one. So I think that is such a valuable resource to have. So I'm excited to get to see that resource library in it'll never be completed, but
it's growing and building. Yes.
It's growing and building. Exactly.
Plugging and I'm cheating a little bit. There's some offices that I know are running a lot of tests through Bristol. So those are my first more biofilm based, but then I'm going to try to break it down where you actually know what the specialty is for each office, whether they are IOMT, IABDM certified, airway based types of, so that you can have a really nice reading of what their specialty is in that component. But so excited. Yeah. So that's launching in January. I have a few exclusive invites. Of course, Amanda just got invited to go
Already
through
RSVP'd.
and give me some feedback. I wouldn't be able to do it without my husband because he's been amazing at putting everything in for me.
Helps
But
when you're married to a computer scientist.
yeah,
Just kidding.
yeah, but I really love this platform because on my website, it didn't really give me the opportunity to get everybody more collaborative. And I really think there's so much for us to learn from each other. With you, with nutrition, I can't wait to learn what you've been learning in that context. But there's so many individuals out in the US and beyond that we can learn from each other, and that's really what the space is going to be. Is I'm going to help teach. I love the teaching perspective, and I want to teach about the oral microbiome and give you a good base information on a nerdy level. But with the webinars, I'm hoping to bring in certain individuals. I had the pleasure of meeting and talking to some of the big speakers on the nitric oxide components. I'm hoping to bring some of them in, and it's not just me that's going to deliver some of the content for the webinars in that context. So you won't just be hearing from me. I'm hoping to pull in some other speakers on different topics to learn from in that context. So exciting. So that's
So
one thing
much
in
value.
January.
And I like it too. So I mentioned like I've been doing my program and they use Canvas. And if any of you out there have ever done online learning, like I was very nervous about online learning, and that nervousness was solidified because I hated Canvas so much. I always felt like I'm missing something or something is stashed somewhere because on that platform, stuff is put everywhere and in 10 million places. And I just felt like I was going insane the whole time. I hated it so much. I like your platform. Just the little bit that I looked at it, like it was easy to navigate. It was a very, like, it made sense. Everything that I was looking for was listed, and it wasn't like, oh, this is stashed here under 10 million file view things. Like, I hate that so much. I get Canvas has so many options. I actually have a patient that works for Canvas. And he was like, just tell me how much you hate it. And I was like, I do. I did. You caused me so much stress. But there is no other option at this time. Anyway, I digress. Platforms are so important for learning. And I love your platform. Just what I have gotten to see so far. Easy to navigate. I think there's great resources. Like it just makes sense. It's visually appealing. So I like it already. Just the little bit I have messed with.
Yeah. And it's both mobile and in computer friendly. So you can log on either. The experience is, I think, probably better on the computer versus the mobile, but you can still easily grab the course and listen to the lessons because all of the CE courses and lessons are video recorded. So you could easily in the car push play and nerd out while you're driving, I think would be super easy. I did tie in, of course, our Functional Roots podcast. So if it locked in there, and then there's some other really great podcasts out there that's in conversation. I'm hoping to just strike up some conversation, highlight some extra special topics that some other podcasts are learning from. So I'm hoping just to really give you a bunch of resources and expand it. Yeah.
It's such an interesting thing. And yeah, not many people get to say they have their own app. So that's a flex, Heather. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it's so exciting and there's no one's talking about what we're talking about. It was interesting, Amanda. I don't know if I had a chance to tell you, but someone from Switzerland reached out to me a couple weeks
You
ago.
mentioned that.
Yes.
We
So,
have a listener in Switzerland. I know we have
yeah.
Australia and Ireland.
Yeah, and Thailand. But
Thank you, Kristen.
yeah, Kristen, but she reached out. She has been following our podcast. She loves it. She's trying to, but she was trying to get me to go speak over in Switzerland. I was like, there might be a little bit of a language barrier. I was like, send me some resources. I'll apply,
English.
whatever.
No,
But they don't have a lot of information over there, she said, that they can go by for what we're teaching, what we're doing.
We clearly need to go.
Yes. Awesome.
at Christmas time specifically to do the Christmas markets.
Right. Yeah. So she did send me a whole bunch of information. I was super happy to hear from her, and I sent her an invite, and we had a Zoom meeting conversation to meet each other. So thank you, Fan. It's awesome to hear that we're being listened to across the world. So awesome. Perfect.
It's so cool to see that this message is resonating globally, for sure. I think there's so many people that I think the longer that we've been in this space, like there's more people saying, thank you for saying this. And I don't know about you, Heather. I don't necessarily think that we're doing anything wildly radical. I think we're just doing things that we feel passionate about. And when people are coming alongside and saying, thank you, I've been thinking that, or I thought about that, or I've never thought about it that way, that's the best thing that I could hear is that our message is encouraging. Our message is something that is empowering other hygienists or other providers, or like it's thought provoking instead of just being put in a box and said, we're wacko, we're kooky. And it's guess what? We have the testing behind us to prove things. Like,
Yep.
so we might be wacky and kooky, but guess what? The tests kind of show what we're saying is not just crunchy talk, it's physical. And yeah, gosh, the mouth is connected to the body. And who knew the products that we use in our mouths affect our whole body and
Oh,
all those things.
it's crazy. It's super fun too. This week I had a conversation. Salivary diagnostic isn't part of didactic treatments and education yet. I have been connected with someone who is in the teaching of the teachers space. So I'll be doing a presentation on salivary diagnostics in the
Oh, is this
didactic
through
setting.
clinicians platform?
Yes.
These are my
Yep.
friends back in New
Yeah,
Mexico.
yeah. Thank you, Amanda, for connecting me with Vicky. So I'm doing a clinician's platform, but then also one for the didactic, the master's mind. So I'm doing functional testing for the clinician, but then also I'm gonna do a section for the educators on how to teach it in the didactic setting as well. So
So a note on clinicians platform. If you guys have not heard clinicians platform, bragging always. This is one of my instructors from hygiene school, Vicky. I cannot say her last name because it is a very Greek last name. And then Lindsay Lee. And Lindsay, I think she's currently the president of the New Mexico Dental Hygienists Association. And she's also at the University of New Mexico with Vicky as educators. But she has such a unique story. So she worked at an office and her doctor was doing neurotoxins, so the injectables. And they were just getting crazy busy. And so her doctor sent her and his other hygienist back to school, nursing school, so that they could do neurotoxin injections for their patients. So Lindsay is not just an RDH, she is also an RN. I believe it's a full-on RN. And so is the other hygienist, which is so interesting. So she has a very good background in the neurotoxin space. And I don't know, she just has a very unique story with her educational background that way. And she's also teaching at the University of New Mexico as well.
Yeah.
So just really interesting ladies, very high drive professionals. And I love where they're taking the space because, like you said, salivary diagnostics are still not being taught.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in 2025, almost 2026, that we're not educating in this space. But yet we're having to learn all the bacteria in our perio courses. But I think like I was that student that was like, why do I need to know this? Like, why do I need to know these bacteria in specificity? Why would I ever know this? I can't identify them. So like, why would I need to know the characteristics of these bacteria? And I think had it been taught, this is how you can test and this is how you can treat differently with perio, I probably would have been a very different perio student because I loved microbiology, but perio was just like, I hate this so much.
Perio.
I did not love perio. In fairness, we had two periodontists who were phenomenal authority on perio, but they were dry. They were dry instructors. So passionate and absolute authority on what they knew, but just how you convey that is very different. So all that to say integrating testing with teaching of perio, I think would be a complete game changer. So
It's a
I
game
that's
changer.
very exciting for those students at the University of New Mexico School of Dental Hygiene.
Way to go. Yeah, so it's super fun. And we need to know about the microbes. Like that's the foundation of oral health. And I just had someone today, like the test post treatment looked pretty good. I was like, hey, this is what things look like now after treatment, hopefully. But I kind of question it might be more of an airway. There's low nitric oxide component, gut component that might have been playing more of a role, but we didn't have a pretest for male reasons. UPS, so
Oh,
losing the
I
mail.
thought you meant like male as
Yeah.
in man reason.
No,
What does
he
that
ran a
mean?
pre-test and the test got lost in the mail. So then we had a
Oh, okay.
post-test and the post-test looked pretty good. But then I was like, let's watch this though, because we have low beneficials and low nitric oxide. And if it's a nitric oxide issue, that might be a whole nother reason. It might be more airway focused where inflammation's coming from. Yeah, the cool things that we can do. And it needs to be, why are we teaching about the bacteria if we're not looking at the bacteria?
Yeah. What are you supposed to do with them?
It clean teeth, scrape.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Okay, we're winding down 2025. It's been a wild year.
Yes.
It's been a wild year. What do you have on your agenda for 2026? Not for functional roots necessarily, but for Heather Kenny. You talked about your website launch, your community, the app, all of that stuff. What speaking, what conferences are you going to be at? Where can people connect with you if they're hoping to see you in person?
I don't have anything in person yet. So,
Yeah, yeah.
dental conferences, if you want to hear me in person, I would love to. I've applied to several different speaking engagements. It's just really hard to get into the space. It's a little bit crazy. I feel like I'm a little bit more welcome with Salivary Diagnostics in the medical side. At the conference at Longevity Fest, there was a chiropractor that came up after we had much conversation. So he had a few different show conferences that he wants me to maybe apply to and do some speaking possibly there. And we were focusing a lot on
That's so
the collaborative aspects of putting oral systemic connection. I co-spoke with Karen Plymell on Mouth as a Messenger. We highlighted root canals being problematic, but salivary testing being really important in that inflammatory cascade for patients. So I think Karen and I both plan on trying to co-speak at some of the medical conferences. I'm planning on trying to apply again at IOMT. I'd like to look at IABDM. I feel like those are more probably my niche. I missed Under One Roof already, so can't submit there yet, but I'm not sure. Any of the dental spaces that are looking to learn more about salivary diagnostics or whole health in general and that sort of thing, I'm welcome to have you contact me. I am doing a webinar for a collective collaborative group that's a functional nutritionist in May. That's a private webinar situation. And then I am speaking at Brookfield Study Club, which is local here for the
okay.
Meridian group that I just spoke with her this week. So stuff is coming. We'll see what the year is. My goal is to get more speaking events. It's just a hard space to get into. What about
It
you?
is, but you've gotten there. You've been there. You will get there. Plus, you're growing that community, so it's going to grow that network. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, where are you speaking? What are you doing? What's your plans for, especially
wait,
with
this
the
is,
nutrition stuff? Tell me more.
gosh. Okay, let's focus on what I do know I have coming up this year. I will traveling with Guru Nanda. I will get to be at the Rocky Mountain Dental Convention in January. February, Chicago Midwinter. I do get to go to the IABDM conference also with Guru Nanda. So
I'm
yeah,
planning. I need to plan that with you. Yes.
yeah. I was like, you can room with me.
Yes.
IABDM, which is in Austin. I've never been to Austin. So that will be a new one. So I'm excited for that. And then I think I get to also go to Anaheim for the California Dental Association meeting again in May, which is always, this will be my third year with Guru Nanda. First year, it was like, I think it was their first year back after COVID. And it was like busy. Last year was nuts. If you've ever, like you worked for Guru Nanda, so you know they are wildly generous with samples.
Yeah.
We were out of samples by day 2.
That's insane.
Thank you. Yes, that it was insane. It was like we were handing out business cards and tongue scrapers because Lene had somebody bring like boxes of whatever they could get at the warehouse. 'Cause there was local. So she was like, bring stuff, we're out of stuff. So yeah, that never happened. So it was nuts. Good connections there as always. And then of course, I'll be at Under One Roof. I don't know if I'll be there with Guru Nanda, but I will be at Under One Roof for sure. I'm sure IAOMT will have a booth and they would love to have us back.
I
So
think we should definitely plan on that.
yeah, for
So
sure.
let's
So
make it.
I know
I obviously will be at Under One Roof.
Yeah, we'll be at Under
last
One Roof.
year for sure. But
I know IAOMT is either a week before or after the IABDM, and it's also in Texas. My goal is to be there, but we'll have to talk and plan on that, Heather.
yes.
So those are what I know conferences. Speaking, I get to do RDH Under One Roof Extended. So that's the online virtual, and that is February 7th. So I will be speaking on integrating functional medicine practices into hygiene practice. So 2 hours. I am not a good talker for 2 hours. Like I'm like, you say 2 hours and I get stressed of I can't talk that long. I can't listen to myself that long. I think if I have a patient, like I have an hour and a half with new patients and I can take up an hour and a half, no problem. But man, when I'm just like talking, I get nervous real fast, real fast. So Heather has the opposite problem. Like Heather's 2 hours is we're just getting warmed up and I'm just like, oh, do I still have things to say? I don't know.
That was
I
the
get
hard
nervous.
part at Longevity Fest. They gave us 30 minutes for 2 of us this week. I had 15 minutes.
Perfect. Perfect.
And it was a little bit sad at Longevity Fest because we were the last speakers on the last day. And Living Well with Dr. Michelle was there.
Okay.
So she spoke in the same grouping as us. So she really set up our conversation like 3 conversations before, but everybody was in 30 minute. And I was like, how do I even have this conversation in 30 minutes? But because we were the last ones, we had so many people asking questions. So I think they were
That's
like,
awesome.
okay, guys, we're packing up the room. They were like stacking all the chairs and stuff as all of the people
That
were.
sounds about right. If you've ever had to be a room monitor with Heather, as I have,
Yeah.
I have strategies now. Standing, turn on the microphone, start tapping. Like your time is up.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
So,
I've left.
no,
I get excited.
yeah, no, you're passionate. You're super passionate and knowledgeable. Yeah, I'm just not that great of a speaker, but
You've
so
got
I'm
it. Yeah.
excited about it. I'm excited about the content I get to share.
Yeah.
I got to do a preview, like a dry run of it for the Delaware Dental Hygienists Association meeting. I didn't get through all of it, which was exciting because I did like my oil pulling presentation and then I started this one just to flesh out some stuff. So I think I'll be fine, but yeah, I still get nervous. I'm excited for that. And then I met with a hygienist. Oh my gosh, I'm totally spacing her name, which I always do. We might do like an in-person fun dental club thing where we make soap because oil pulling is soponification. So we tie the two together. We might do like a soap thing while we're oil pulling for a CE event. So just something a little bit different and fun. And then locally, how we were talking about getting business off the ground, but I went to a networking event at my local health and wellness store. All the small business owners within the community that do energy work or whatever. We just have the opportunity to meet and people from the community can come and just hear what we do. So I went, even though I was like, I am nowhere near ready to help people with anything, but I'm just going to get out there and start practicing. And honestly, it's a better time to meet with the other providers in your community. And so I met with this lady, her name is Cindy, and she owns a wellness. And if you've seen me post about like the ionic foot bath thing,
Yeah.
she owns this, I don't want to call it a spa, it's a wellness center. And she's wanting to move her brick and mortar location to her home closer to where I live, which is convenient, to do retreats. Yes, wellness retreats. And kind of contracting with her of how can I bring value to this wellness retreat that she would like to do. So just so many random things coming up this year. So that's what I know of. But looking back on 2025, this is the year I've literally been at the airport every month this year, which is so wild. Like I have a flight in 2 hours where I'm headed to Tucson. So yes,
Yes.
this is my life.
And it's exploding. It's going to be great. I'm looking
It's
forward to
fun.
2026 and what it brings. Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Think about where we started. I'm going to
And
just
it's
give
Starbucks in Chicago.
2025. It started in Chicago just a year ago, which I'll have to meet you in Chicago.
Yeah,
So close.
obviously.
Yeah. I'll have to make sure I make it down there for that. And we've done so much this year together. So it's been an exciting year and I'm looking
Really.
forward to where 2026 brings us. Yeah.
Yes. And growing the podcast, continuing to grow our community and ultimately just impact health. I
Yeah.
think that's
We
the
have
goal.
some cool speakers coming up. We had to cancel a few things for this month that just didn't work out for everybody that we
So many
scheduled.
people.
First thing next year, we're going to do a lot of airway stuff. So we do have an airway dentist, Dr. Kristen Geist, who's I've been friends with Bristle. I just love her to death, but she's big into the airway space for treatment of adults for sleep apnea. Then we have myofunctional therapy pulling in with Miss Tongue. Trisha, my brain is shut off, but she is the author of Miss Tongue. So we're going to be talking to her. And then Dr. Nathan Bryan is on my list to get scheduled in January as well. And that's tying the airway aspect with nitric oxide. And then I made some really cool connections with some functional doctors at Longevity Fest, and one of which practices in Reno, and he's an acupuncturist. He does a lot of detox pathway. Was super interested and didn't know who I was, but was asking about root canals and mercury detox. And he does a lot of acupuncture, meridian work, and detoxing on that. He's already contacted me about coming on. So we'll talk about detox pathways and root canals and how those are tied to systemic health and what his findings are there. So there's some really cool topics coming in 2026.
I'm excited for 'em. And Holly Moons. They're finally getting Holly Moons back on.
So funny story, Holly Moons and Amanda and I already met once. I epically failed at recording a podcast. So we had an hour and a half podcast privately. So we are scheduling Holly Moons back, which is one of my favorite individuals on the oral microbiome space. She's super fun to talk to, and I just love her to pieces. And she's got a sneak peek on the Saliva Sleuth as well. Yeah. So I'm hoping to catch up with her tomorrow because we have to reschedule her for next month too. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff coming up. So stay tuned.
Yes.
To Functional Roots. Please share. Join us if you're interested in becoming a Saliva Sleuth. HeatherKenneyRDH.com. You can sign up to be a subscriber and you will get a founder's invite. If you are in my email listing so far, I will be sending out a founder's invite for a locked-in lifetime work price for the new individuals who want to join as a founder member. So if you want to be part of the Saliva Sleuths community, I highly recommend putting yourself on the subscribers list and you'll get the first invite for a discounted lifetime membership.
And it will be fun learning.
Absolutely. All right, Amanda. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
Merry Christmas.